may have. I'll just preface it by saying we're very pleased to have General Semonite here. He is the commanding general for the Corps of Engineers. So having him come out here, again, is extremely important. It shows his commitment to this project. And of course, what we're talking about now is moving forward with construction. We're very pleased that, that the Diversion Authority has been able to get the approval in terms of the judge and Minnesota, so that the construction in North Dakota can proceed. There are 4 or 5 different portions of the project that I think the general will talk about that we want to get underway. A couple of them already funded, one already bid. It's just restarting construction on the inlet, but on the number of the others, it's about moving forward, getting them bid and getting them constructed. If this goes as we have planned, General, it'd be about $200 million in terms of federal construction, which would be underway this year or getting underway. And our commitment is to continue to work to keep the project going until we get it done. And I think the mayor and Commissioner Sherling have said 6 years is the goal. And so that's what we're looking at doing. And I feel like this has just been a real collaborative project. There are a lot of challenges that we have overcome, and there are more challenges to overcome, but this is a local, state, federal partnership. It is Fargo, Moorhead, West Fargo, Cass County, Clay County, the region working together, and this is about comprehensive flood protection for the region. So we have to stay at it, get it done. Even this year, you can see, because of all the incredible improvements that have been made, there's a lot of areas that are now protected that you almost already are taking for granted, but we're going to go out and look at some more of the area. We've looked at some of it that's underwater right now because the full project has not been constructed. And that's why we need to keep pressing forward until we get this thing done. And of course, that's exactly what we're doing. So again, big thank you to General Semonite and you know, his commitment to the project. That's vitally important. This doesn't happen without him and his great team. So General, thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Senator. I just echo everything the Senator said. We're working all over the world, and when I look at this project, the potential here to continue to collaborate, continue to do amazing things to protect not only the property but the lives of the people of this critical area, it's very, very important. I was here 2 years ago, and you convinced me of the utility of this project. We continue to champion this, not just from an engineering perspective, but to work very, very closely with Congress. Senator Hoeven has been a champion here to be able to make sure we can articulate to Congress the value of this, so when Congress has to make hard decisions on where money should go, this is one of those that clearly should be at the top of the list. As the Senator said, we've got about $100 million already appropriated, so we are going to continue to finish out the Division Inlet. That's fully funded. We'll work on that in the next couple of years. The Wild Rice structures and the other one we're going to start. We'll have that awarded by the end of September 2019. And then the other big things is that as we continue to be able to let Congress know where there are definable increments of work we can do, Congress does give us additional appropriations in many, many of the years. If the Congress does decide to give us additional in what we call the FY20 work plan, then we would continue to be able to advocate for the I-29 bridge and road raise project to be able to get those done. That's about $62 million. And then also to be able to start on the west embankment. We think those are very, very definable projects that would continue to incrementally get this done. But as I look at through not just the concrete and the steel on this, but it's much more about everybody working side by side. The commissioner's been phenomenal. Mayor, you got a great team up here, everything that you've done. And again, it goes to both of the great governors. They've come together and have done some outstanding things. And I look at this project also from the potential to be able to help introduce perhaps some other ways that we can fund some of these innovative infrastructure projects. We have too much backlog in America to be able to have the federal government carry all the load. So we can think about how do we share that load through either local, state, federal, or perhaps private industries. This is a project that I think has amazing potential. So the Corps will continue to stand by you. And Mayor, I just want to tell you that we're very proud to be on your team. Thank you.
I'll just add that the North Dakota legislature is wrapping up business in the next few days, and you can see the federal commitment to this project. And one of the reasons I've been told the federal government feels that this is a worthy project, not only because it's needed, but because the local taxpayers have chosen to tax themselves half of the cost of this project to get it done. So, I mean, that's phenomenal. It shows how important it is to us to get permanent flood protection for our citizens, and we're excited to move forward, but we need to have the state of North Dakota's support with this project as well. We've been working diligently to give them the information they need, and we hope that they can fund us to the level that we've requested so that we can move forward in a timely manner. So with that, we're excited to get moving on the project that we had to halt for a short period of time, but hopefully in another 6 years, we'll be able to cut a ribbon. Thanks.
Mayor, jump in.
Well, General Seminite, I'm very pleased that 2 years ago you came here, saw our project, and saw the progress that we needed to make. And firmly, if people wonder, is the federal government in this? You are in this. This is one of your top 20 projects in the United States. The other issue is that we talked about innovation, and we truly think this is an innovative project. This is the one project, when you look at the Corps sometimes and say, why does it take so long? This is one project in which you're pushed to put the pedal to the metal to try to get this one done on time. And we really feel that we can move forward on this. And the state sometimes is asked is, are you guys committed? And there's no question in today's meeting, you are committed. So we're going to work with that. Senator Hoeven and the congressional delegation is going to work with us, get the money from the feds, and we're going to move forward on this project. So this is a great day for the Diversion Authority. When the general comes into the town and says stuff, things happen. And he wanted to compliment our engineers. Nathan, when he went down there and looked at our flood wall, we didn't leak. So we're happy to see that. And Jason, you can show them the county out there and see where you are leaking, because you have a lot of roads that are underwater and it's really a mess out there. And good God, when we get this done, you're going to have a lot better flood fight. Thank you.
You'll be glad to know you climbed all over the downtown part. And I'm sure you'll climb all over the southern end as soon as we get down there.
Well, I think, first of all, I was telling the senator, it's sometimes odd or rare that you get to both see the beginning of a project and the end of a project. And while we have a long way to go here, 2 years ago, there was a lot of mud. We had just finished a significant flood event, and we were down there in that pump station, and I couldn't understand necessarily how the whole thing would come together. At that time, this building was not built. You got a brand new condominium, it looks like, going up on the side of it. The road was all closed off. Traffic, 2nd Street had been moved back. And to see all of that activity down there, and where people now can reside knowing that they can invest in that property, whether it's business or residential, without having to worry about flood damage, where people can go on the front side and have recreation advantages on the front side of that trail. I think that's just indicative of the quality of life that the people of this region deserve. And that's what this flood control does. It's clearly got to be able to take care of safety and the property of life, property and damage. But at the end of the day, our citizens deserve to live in a place where they don't have to fear for their life every single dime. And if they end up putting an investment in, they'd like to think that's protected. So I see great value of what's done. The quality of the construction is phenomenal. And this is where I really get the impression that everybody here is all in. It's a total vertical team, and we're just proud to be part of the team. So we're doing about $46 billion this year. That's a big, big lift for us. On the other hand, we have very, very specific guidance from Congress as to where those projects should fall. And then those are all in different type of business lines. There's clearly flood control projects, there's navigation projects, there's ecosystem restoration. And then our job is to basically be able to study a given requirement, to be able to identify the value of the investment, and then to recommend to Congress. Congress makes a decision on those, but we have to be able to figure out what's those projects that are the best value to the nation to be able to invest in. A lot of times that goes back to what are the benefits, what are the costs. I personally put a very, very high premium on life safety. I look at, the ability to be able to protect life, to be able to protect investment. So flood control is obviously very, very high. And this region alone, what you went through and, several years ago, what you continue to see, when we flew in today, there's a lot of fields on the outside of town that are continuing to be flooded. So this is where this thing, I think, rose to a point where not only was it something that you needed something larger than just the local solution. The local solution couldn't have solved it here. The federal government had to be able to partner with state and locals, and that's where I saw the potential of being able to do this in a little bit different way. To me, meant that this was really important, and that's why I'm here today, is to just be able to continue to be able to be visible, to be transparent, but also to help carry back to DC to champion this project wherever I can, so Congress then has the best available information they need you to make those funding decisions.
Anybody else? Pat, no questions?
If you? Sure. Yeah. So it's called WIPIA. It's just a loan guarantee. Actually, EPA already does it, and the intent was for the Corps to have a similar program. So what I did is I included in the energy and water bill last year $6 million and a directive that the Corps of Engineers stand up a loan guarantee program similar to what EPA does. And essentially the way it would work is it would provide a guarantee then for a project. So the idea is not for the federal share. So the federal share we just appropriate like we've talked about today. That's the $200 million we talked about. We'll continue to appropriate that to the Corps, and then the Corps does the work. But the idea is that for the state and local share, if we could help them bond that, then that would hopefully reduce their cost over time. And so that's the idea. If we can get the WIFIA program stood up, then that would help reduce that state and local cost share, or in essence make their dollars go further, because we'd be able to provide them with a federal guarantee. So that's what we're working on. Does that answer your question? Yes. Yep.
And the beauty of the WIFIA is we don't pay till the project is done. So if it builds 6.5 years, you're not paying on that. So on our bonds, the financial bonding we need, John Shockley could probably tell you how all that works, but when we do that, it's a tremendous savings for us on the bond cost.
And I actually had talked to the Corps about using EPA's program. The Corps came back to me and said, no, we want our own. And I said, fine, then set one up. Well, we don't have the money to do it, so I gave them the $6 million to set it up and the directive to do it. So hopefully that'll happen. But it's going to take, they have to set up the program and so forth. But that's what we're working on.
Well, I'm excited when our partner's excited about a project, because that means we're both committed to get this thing done. And Bruce Grubb and I looked at the flood forecast when this started out. We could have been at 41 feet, and that would be a tremendous floodplain for this community. So to have our project done and could sustain a 100-year flood or could sustain a 500-year flood event, that's tremendous. And the more quicker we get it built, and as we know, we finally got a flood 209, it's 219 coming. We're going to have some more wet events, and the way the weather's been lately, it's kind of crazy what next spring will bring in the spring after. So part of the reason the general and I are talking about a 6-year build is hopefully to have it built before we have another major flood.
Second year, you had your flood wall up and you got water on it. That's only the second year you had it.
That's right. So that's why we're enthusiastic about, it's hard when things hold you back, but when you can finally go forward and say to the public, this thing is going, it really is very helpful to all of us. And what we're getting out there, and Mary can verify that too, is the people, the landowners, the homes, the people that are affected are saying, are you going to get it done or not? And they're thankful that we're going to get it done, because then they can get some definitive ideas of what's going to go on. And it's a matter of, well, how does this affect me and what do I need to do? And I think you're getting some relief out there. Some of your township meetings have gone well, where people said, I didn't realize this is how you're going to treat me. You are treating me fair. And people say, some people got to move off the farm. Some people want to do stuff with their kids. There's a variety of different things. So when we get a definition that we're moving forward and we're in the project and we're in the start, we have gone through all the steps that we should be moving forward. So it's just like, hooray, there's one of those things that we could jump up and down and say, boy, finally, we're starting to move forward. Did you want to comment on that?
Yes, we've been actively engaged with landowners since the beginning of the year, especially in the channel portion of the project. And a lot of those folks have been held in limbo for the last couple of years and wanting to move forward. And so this has really been a blessing for them to be able to do that. And we've also been talking to folks that are in the impacted areas south of the dam, if you will. And we can certainly visit with them if they want to have a land acquisition now or if they want to wait. The beauty of this project, if you're not ready for a couple more years or 5 years or whatever it might be, then we can make that adjustment for you if you live in certain areas that are affected by the project. But the bottom line, we want to make sure that people feel like they're treated fairly, and we want to be as flexible as we possibly can. So. We've been out visiting with a lot of folks. We were in Richland County last week, and pretty much every week you'll see us somewhere, but you can go to our website and get all the details and more detailed maps on how you might be affected.
Okay, got it.
Thanks for being here.
All right, thanks, guys.